Oh, Mana Stone. Oh, shit, Mana Stone. Okay, when did I check in last? Oh my, it's been 8 hours. What have I been doing? Oh, energy drinks. Why haven't you been invented yet? Me, no, my Mana Stone. You, EverQuest. You.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is StaticGroup.live, the newly formed channel, and I'm here with my good buddy Therek tonight, and also Sparoh.
Hey.
Oh, I can't hear Sparoh. Hold on.
How about now?
Yes, there we go.
All right.
Now we got everybody. Yes, very cool. Yes, Daimlos, that was, yes, if you don't understand the intro, that was an actual situation that happened to me in EverQuest. So he was reenacting that. But tonight we had a lot of information that dropped. Very exciting stuff. A lot to discuss. So I need to readjust Sparoh's camera a bit. So Therek, why don't you lead us off? Is Therek there?
Yeah, he was having a hard time hearing me earlier.
Oh no. Take me to your leader.
It's almost like he's got a delay.
Sparoh, you're up first.
All right. I was super excited by the list of things that they're trying to tackle in 2024. It was pretty long, with races and classes being at the top.
Yeah, I'm actually having a hard time hearing you. I don't know
Oh no.
if it's my internet or what's going on.
I'm gonna mute him for the moment.
Okay.
Air Canada is not connecting.
Yeah, it's
I don't know what's going on. All right, sorry. Go ahead, Sparoh.
All right. So, and that we also got a word for the year is content. So
Meaty
that's got
content.
me super excited.
Meaty content.
Meaty content, both.
Both meaty content. That was fantastic.
So that's super exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. I was super excited. I was railing on them the whole thing about the race class matrix update. Because I was really afraid that they were going to take away something that I wanted to do. But that's not what it ended up being. It didn't end up being anything like that at all. It's just that they're adding Necro and Bard into the situation.
Yes.
So
they're taking off the asterisk.
Right. Which is pretty cool. I think that's a way better idea. I was always really against changing the race class matrix. So I was like people have locked in on their stuff. If you change something of someone's and that was their thing, they're gonna be mad.
Yeah, there was one I wouldn't mind seeing going, but I would understand if somebody's got their heart set on it. That would suck having it taken away. So I'll even give them the Scar Ranger, I suppose.
Is Therek back? Oh wait, Therek's back. All right, hold on. I'm gonna bring him back to life here. All right, connecting to Canada. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Let's see. Yay!
Canada's back online. We lost our internet for a minute. The whole country went out, but we're back now.
I'm now Therek.
Oh,
I think it was. I saw that too. Yeah, it switched over. That's okay.
No, it's unacceptable.
No, I think what triggered it was I made a joke in the Twitch chat about the Ranger not being dead, as confirmed by Joppa at the end of the stream, when he was very clear that even though he wants to have all the classes online by the end of the year, which I thought was actually a pretty big beam that dropped at the end there, but saying the Ranger is definitely not going to be before or last or after the Bard and Necro. Those are still the classes that are going to be coming in. So technically not last, so technically not dead. So anyway, I think one of the other things that stood out to me, and I think you guys touched on it, but just regarding the persist fix, right? Because that's been the main thing that's been holding everything up, and that's what I was really wanting to hear about, because they've been kind of radio silent on that. We haven't really heard what's going on with this major problem. And the longer it went on, the more I wondered how big of a problem it actually was, right? Like, is this insurmountable? Is this something that they can't get over? So I'm glad that they led with that. And I thought it was interesting that they're not fixing it. They're creating a new persist layer. And while Japa was talking, I was actually Googling, like doing a little quick like knowledge gathering, like what is a persistence layer? How does it work? Like, at what stage in the process should you have a working persistence layer? Because, tied into what I just said, like, is this a huge problem that they couldn't overcome? Like, at this stage of the process of development, is it normal to have to create your persistence layer now? So that's what I was kind of wondering. So it answered that question for me. It answered the question of what they're doing about it. It didn't answer the question fully of like why it's taken this long. Like, why have you just now realized that this is an issue? I think that remains, an outstanding question. So, but I'm glad that we got a little bit of enlightenment about it. So yeah, that was my big takeaway. And there were a couple other things I'm sure we'll touch on as we go through with our green room friends to, I thought were important as well.
Nice.
And I thought too, it was interesting about the persist that you brought up is that it's the last of the legacy code.
Mm-hmm.
That was interesting. I didn't realize that. So they got all their own new stuff now.
Yeah. Like, it's hard to believe that there's still code that has been the same since, like they said, the project inception, which, technically, depending on how you sort of, where you put the start point at, 2014 to 2016, somewhere in there. Although, that maybe that's different than the way we're looking at it from the way they're looking at it. I don't know. But
none of these programmers would have been here for that, right? Like, none of them.
No, I don't think so. I mean, none of the programmers, no, not as far as I'm aware, but
yeah.
So it just goes to show you like how much technology changes over the course of 10 years, right? Like, the fact that there was still something in there from 10 years ago is kind of crazy. And like, that's why I questioned, how did you not think this was going to be an issue? Like, did you not see this coming down the road? Or is this normally the stage of development where you would address this? That would be my question. But I think what Japa said at the end there, just my last thing I'll say is, by the end of once this is done, he said they're running on launch tech. So.
Yeah, that was an interesting term. Not something I've heard of. So to me, that meant is that they have everything they need to launch. Is that what that means? As in their base code?
As in, like, to me, and again, layman's terms, to me, it means like there should be no more gutting and reworking. There should be no more tear down, rebuild.
More refactors, what Des says.
Yeah,
okay.
No more refactors. So, that's something to take away. That's something to take away.
Very cool.
Sounds exciting.
Well, just a little bit of housekeeping before we get to our callers, because this is a call-in show. Pantheon Plus U is not just about me, Therek, and Sparoh. It's about the Pantheon community. So we want you to call in and tell us what you thought about the Pantheon Q&A, and give us any questions you may have, or any comments, how you're feeling about Pantheon right now, how you're feeling about meaty content being the word of 2024. Just give us those updates. Also, just to let everyone know, we are streaming tonight. Streaming, as I like to call it, Trinity streaming, because we're all about the Trinity here at staticgroup.live. We are streaming on Twitch, YouTube, and Kick. Brand new Kick.
Wow.
So if you are a kicker, make sure you follow us on Kick.
A kicker, is that what they call them? Is that what they call people who watch on Kick?
I have no idea. I'm
You're
a noob.
just making that up.
I'm a Kick noob. But we're giving it a go. So yeah. So for myself, I mentioned before, I like the I'm excited that the classes are going to be in. I also think I think they alluded to this, but I don't think they kind of flat out said it. I think taking a step back on the capital cities is a smart idea. And I think that and I think eventually that may lead to not all three continents at the same time. And I just think those are things that, just to get the game out in a timely manner is probably going to have to happen. But I think that's good that they're looking at those things.
I thought that discussion. Oh, go ahead, Sparoh. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I liked the idea that Draq threw out there when they were discussing this with putting in the larger cities later on as player housing areas. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought the discussion about the early stages of the game development when Brad was like against having the players starting cities, referencing Vanguard and New Targanor there. I thought that was really cool. That's an insight that comes from the foundations of this project and his wisdom, and there was this sort of pushback against the idea of having all these starting cities and Brad coming from the experience of what he went through with Vanguard, maybe that's the wisdom, maybe there's wisdom in that. And I'm sure Joppa's, had this internal debate, more times than any of us have, but maybe that's where it lands. He talked about compromise and hearing compromise being thrown around is probably a good thing at this stage, I would say. So
Yeah.
again,
and how many times have we seen large cities be completely empty in games that we love?
Yeah,
So many
absolutely.
times.
Absolutely. Like, and I thought about it. I'm thinking about like playing pre-alpha right now. Like, Avelia was. I mean, even if Throne Fast was available, even if you could go into Throne Fast, like everything we need is in Avelia anyway. So why wouldn't we just hang out in Avelia? Like, why would you end up going into Throne Fast? I guess obviously there will be things in there when it's done that will be not available in Avelia. But I like the idea of having smaller sort of gathering areas be a compromise for doing these grand starting cities that serve no functional purpose.
All right. Let us move forward with how we got people in the green room. I'm assuming I saw a few already forming before we even got started. So yeah, we got some peoples, some usual suspects. We do like new callers as well. New callers go to the head of the line.
That's true. Yes. Yes. New callers get priority service around here.
Priority service.
If you're first timer, you get first dibs. So once one of those people shows up, I will definitely bump them to the front of the line. But right now we got 4 of our regulars. So if you guys are ready, do you want me to pull somebody in?
Pull somebody in.
All right, let's go with Desrin because I know he has a lot to say because he's
going to take all the points. There's going to be no points left to take.
Well, I can't go back on it now. I've committed to it now. I can't say no now. So we have to bring him in. So Desrin, I voted for you to come in first. Draq is pushing back. He says no. He says you're going to take all the points. So help me out.
No, I won't take all the points. I didn't even really distill. Like I usually have these are my biggest things from the whole, Q&A into a nice little fine package. But this time, I just had like a general feeling from this one. Besides, like how it gets so casual, and I'm sure some people like are not going to appreciate that much. but for us that have been around and like kind of become a bit of family in this community, right? Like it feels very personable, and I enjoy the vibe. And you remember when we were talking about just how much like happier everyone on the team sounded, right? And that's still carrying over. Like they sound good.
They do sound good. Yeah, you're right. The casual thing, like I get what you're saying. We've talked about this before on the rewind and whatever, and I like that too. But you know what drives me crazy is that they have like it's at the very end of like an hour and 20 minutes when they start putting pictures like in the Discord. They start dropping the image, and you're like, start with this. This is what I want to see. Like, I know it's art and stuff like that, but that ogre model was amazing. Like that female ogre model was super cool. And like, it's like, these are the parts that come around like just randomly. It's like, this isn't planned.
Yeah. This is the kind of stuff that people will miss.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So there is, I think, a balance they do need to catch there of like a little bit of organization. And it's like, it's funny in the moment, like kind of joking about, are you reading this? I didn't read that kind of stuff. But when it, if one of the things was better communication, not saying they need to be corporate or anything, but, maybe a little bit more organization to put some of the bigger stuff up front. Because unfortunately that most people won't listen to the whole thing. Like, I'm sure you could ask Fire to check the YouTube analytics for you. And majority of your audience is not going to stick around till the very end. So that is something they could definitely improve on.
Sav had a numbered list. I don't know what more you guys want from her. Like,
yeah, I even commented. I was like, oh man, organization, nice. Yeah, well, Haley. So it's like a end credits in the Marvel movies.
yeah,
yeah, that's right. That's exactly what it is. I mean, I want to give a shout out though to Sav. I mean, sometimes she asks those follow-up questions that I'm like, thank God for asking that. Like,
yeah.
you know, she probes a little deeper to get what we actually want to hear, because, you know, some of the stuff gets the question doesn't always get answered as robustly as it may.
I do appreciate that follow-up, because I mean, they can't answer every question that comes up in chat like during it, because the stream would never end, right? But yeah, the follow-up bits are really good. Just to be like, well, I'm trying to remember. There was a case a while back, and I think it might have been Sav, but I can't remember who exactly it was. But a question was asked, and it wasn't really completely answered, and then there was a bit of like a snarky kickback of like, okay, so do you want to actually answer that question? Mm-hmm. And I was like, I always remember that as being one of my favorite like points, because, you know, they're all coworkers, and hopefully, you know, it's not like hard feelings or anything. But yeah, sometimes we get off track, and it feels really good that there's someone there to like just make sure that the question is answered.
Yes, agreed. What else did you take away from this? Anything on the persistence thing that?
Yeah, I did probably want to say something on that front, and I'm not like a database admin or anything, but I just want to be super clear, and because there's probably some confusion here. It's like, it's not that they didn't have a way to persist things in the past. Like, obviously they did, because the game was functioning and stuff was persisting, generally speaking, until Nefel, you know, they discovered an issue which was related to the crafted items, right? And I think it was like crafted items that were traded, you know, were getting, were kind of screwing up. And that's when this was uncovered. But with the scale and scope of the game previously, we just never ran into that limit. And like I said, it's software development. Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, because you're probably going to break more things if you try to fix it. And so we had a system that was working, and we just found the limit. And that's pretty much it. Like, we found the limit, so they're making a new solution that's probably more, you know, robust and works with how the game is now. Mm-hmm. But the fact that they had a solution that worked for 9 years, you know, through the refactor and everything too, like, because with the refactor, all the other code is changing too. So like, right. it worked. So, you know, why waste time on it? You know, and that's, I want people to understand that more than anything, because it's not like they just didn't have it. Like, having to look up, you know, when
they
should
woke up
you
one
have
morning and they were like, "Oh my goodness, we have no persistence."
Oh, we forgot persist. Yeah, no, it's not
right.
That.
But do you agree with me when I say, like, what do you think that they had the expectation they would just maintain the legacy code, as they put it, through to launch? Like, was that the expectation?
Oh, probably not. But again, if it ain't broke, you know, they have other things they can focus on, right? Like,
yeah,
there's so many other things on fire that wasn't on the list.
Exactly,
it was on the list.
Fix it once it catches on fire and doesn't work anymore. Then deal with it.
Yeah,
because when it comes down to it, like, I mean, how much additional like features and stuff was added to the game since this first presented itself last year? Right, because it only started happening, like, I don't know, like I said, a little bit after like the crafting came online, when we started to see that. And you know, it was annoying for players, but I wouldn't say it like ruined the experience or anything. Like, we were still able to do like a lot of stuff. So, you know, I think the timeline's fine, personally.
That's interesting. Good. Yeah, good. Anything else? Anything else you wanted to bring up?
I'll leave all the like specific points for a lot of people, but one of the things that I wanted to point out, and I'm glad they answered this again, props to Sav for throwing this in here, but the follow-up we finally got on seamless zone transitions. is both a yay and a little bit, because it's like, okay, we can go between zones, but the bits that still need to be figured out are I don't want to say worrying, but some of them are kind of big, like not being able to see NPCs on the other side of the zone line is a pretty big thing that isn't figured out yet, or NPCs being able to traverse across
NPCs
zone lines.
Crossing zone lines is a huge deal.
So it's kind of like right now, if we get AVP or something and we can just kind of walk over, that'll be cool. I'll like, not to diminish it or anything. It'll be cool to just be able to walk through those gates and be an AVP. But yeah, there's still some pretty big things that need to be worked out for this to actually feel like seamless. Like, because if you're walking across a line and then suddenly like all the NPCs just pop up in front of you, like we're not quite there yet.
Or even mobs, worse yet. That would be
exactly.
terrifying.
Yeah, so there's still a lot of work there.
I'm just happy that the fact that another zone exists. I don't care about the line, the seamlessness. I don't care about seeing mobs.
Right.
All I care is that it actually exists. That's all that matters.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty far along, right? Like
it sounds like they said before the end of January. Honestly, the next patch is going to be before the end of the month, which, what is today? Today's the 18th. So, we've got another couple weeks, and there's big stuff happening. The persisting is going to be implemented. AVP is going to be in. There's going to be some class updates, crafting and gathering updates. And Joppa even talked about some of the pets, right? And we've seen some of that in some of the updates in Discord, and what they've been talking about. And so, yeah. I mean, I don't know if we'll get the persist and AVP at the same time. I mean, that would be a pretty huge drop, right? But sounded like that's what they want. I mean, it sounded like
so that's what he's going for, right?
Stuff keeps piling up.
Right.
But it'll also only be portions. We were used to AVP being humongous. When it first comes in, it's still just going to be parts of it, not the whole thing.
Right.
Oh, on that note,
what does orange mean?
Feel about
AVP orange? I'm like, is that a flavor?
No, it's a new P99 server.
Oh,
there you go. Nailed it.
It all makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
How did you guys feel about the whole AVP is level 14 up to level 14?
That is crazy.
That's how odd.
Yeah.
I was surprised actually because of what's in Thronefast right now, but Joppa touched on that and said that they are going to be scaling back some of the levels in Thronefast to accommodate for AVP, right? That is what he said. My understanding is correct there. Mm-hmm. So level 13 to 14 is what the range of AVP is going to be. I thought that's interesting because that's a pretty, with the level pacing right now, it's actually a pretty big range, right? Because we need more of that range of content. There's just not enough in Thronefast. In that range, you get to level 6 or 7 and you're basically doing one thing. We need more, more range, more content within that range.
But if you think about it, we needed, like, it needs to be a shorter, like, Thronefast. You don't want to stay in Thronefast for 20 of your 15 levels.
God, no. Yeah.
That's a horrible plan. You should be forced to move out of Thronefast at 10ish, right? At the max. So I think pushing people to the next zone I think is a great idea. Having zones overlap rather than having I'm just gonna say it, the WoW map with 5 to 12 here, 22 to 28 here. No, that's a horrible plan.
When he started talking, I actually thought that's what he meant. Like, I thought he was talking about, Thronefast is getting scaled down to a certain level, and then you go to AVP, and then you go, like, that's what it sounded like at first. But It sounds like he just really wants, I forget how he phrased it, but it was like he wants the progression to be, like, very slow.
So the way he... and not about AVP, but he was talking about Hangor and Madrun as being destination zones, which are much more targeted level range, right?
Yeah, and he said those were like around level 20, right? So,
yes, that's what I took away too.
But I just mean between Thronefast and AVP, it sounds like if Throwing Fast gets kind of scaled down a bit so that you're not, really leveling up to 20 there, and then AVP comes in for the round up to around 14, I mean, that does sound like a lot more content to get us to 14 or, around there. But if the jump is still 14 to 20, that's, I don't know. We'll have to see how it plays out. But that was a little,
yeah,
I'm not sure. Not sure yet.
It's information either way. It's something.
Yeah.
It's something we can sink our teeth into either way. So,
And I'm sure that's something as testers we're going to give feedback on, is how it feels going from Thrown Fast to Avendiers and the different zones. I'm sure they'll tweak it if it's not working.
Yeah.
That's very important too. Yeah.
Besides,
Well,
he said Black Rose Keep, so we'll be able to move to Black Rose Keep all the faster.
Honestly,
well, he said, yeah. Go ahead, Therek.
no, I was just gonna say honestly, as soon as I can go to Black Rose Keep, I'm just going there. I don't care what level I am.
Yeah,
I don't even care. I'll
drop
stealth.
everything and go.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm missing Halnir's Cave really bad.
That
As scary as
sounds like
place
what
is.
we're going to be getting, right? It sounds like we're going AVP and then Halnir's Cave, and then we're getting the other stuff. The other stuff sounded a bit further out to me, at least personally.
Yeah.
But,
So Screech in chat wants to know when are we getting the next rewind? Is there an ETA on our next rewind? The people want their rewind.
The
what do you
crowd
think?
demands. I don't know, Des. What do you think? Do you want to do one at the end of the month here, maybe after the producer's letter comes out?
I mean,
Might be a good time to do one.
Yeah, maybe we should we should remember to talk about it.
No, we're going to talk about it right now. No, right now, absolutely right now. No, I mean, Screech is asking, what are we supposed to do? No, it's fine. Yeah, no.
We'll let everybody know though. Like
we will do one soon, and
soon.
we'll let you know.
Will it
Soon.
have meaty
Oh.
content in your? As well?
Is it imminent?
It's imminent. It'll be a meaty episode, and
Robust.
both Desert and I will be there. There you go. All the buzzwords in one
That's
phrase.
fantastic.
that was pretty well crafted.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I think
Yes.
that should be the new intro, actually.
Oh man, Draq, I hope you got that soundbite, or whenever they put the YouTube
Yeah,
up, I'm going to
I'll
need you to
fish
get
it
that.
out.
So I think I put a timestamp. I'll have to find it and send it to you. But lastly, I just want to say, when he was going over the 2024 stuff, as memey as it is, to lay out, I think someone in chat was like, so basically the rest of the game.
It was a lot. Like he said, a lot.
Yeah, and that usually would make me like immediately kind of skeptical. It's like, it does sound a little bit like rattling off. We'll see if Rob comes out and is like, yeah, that's actually part of a schedule.
I'm so glad you said that, Desmond. Actually, honestly, I have that in my notes. I'm like,
Oh, I got that too.
I know what Joppa wants.
Exactly.
I want to hear what Robert Crane says they can do.
Yep.
I know, we know Joppa. We know he dreams and big and vision, but what is realistic? Like, what is Robert like? Look, here's the production schedule. Here's what we are realistically going to hopefully accomplish. I totally, we're on the same page about that. I made that in big bold letters in my notes. What does Rob have to say about this?
This is the type of thing the QAs with, like, because if you think about it, and this is the opposite side of the coin, right? A little bit, but we have to be fair. Where we praise them a lot, but to be fair, there wasn't any really like hard dates on anything except for end of January there'll be a patch. Mm-hmm. There was no hard dates on races, classes, like just that stuff is coming, which is like, well, they've gotten themselves in trouble with that in the past.
I want to like not. So I'm still even after all these years, I'm not a hard dates kind of person. I think it's actually good that they don't give hard dates, because it's just
right.
It just sets expectations, and then expectations get screwed up. But what they did give that I think is the right way to do it is priorities and more timelines. So it's like we know that in the next patch we're getting persist. We know that soon after the next patch, like along those lines, we're getting AVP, we're getting all the updates that we should have gotten in December, but were delayed. So they laid all this stuff out so that we know at least what order. And my note here, my closing comment was that I think my favorite part of this stream, and even though Joppa listed like a billion things for 2024, right, is I think they're focusing on the right things. Like, I don't think there was anything in that 2024 list that seemed like, extraneous or anything.
I have to object, Desmond. They said emotes are on the list.
You don't think that's a big thing?
The hearts and shards. Hearts and Shards emote, it could be a raindrop. We don't. It could be...
Well, but so that's animation though, and it's like, so what?
Oh Lord!
What else? Like animating,
anything else goes above emotes. That's so ridiculous. I can't believe that. But like, anything that's important. Because everything, the game, playable, everything.
But an animator's not going to program abilities, like the animator's going to animate. So I'm just saying, because they have a unified rig for the races and classes, which they're working on right now. And so it's like, do we need the Archimental, or we could just make the Archimental, some other placeholder item? It's like, no, we want the Archimental. But I think they're prioritizing, like, gameplay wise, I think the right things. And it seems reasonable for 2024. It doesn't seem like, or my biggest thing is it seems like they're finally at the point where they're cutting back on a bit of the extra bits that they probably don't need for a launch, or at least for alpha, beta, or whatever you want to call it. And I think I appreciate that, because it makes me feel like they've come out of the clouds a bit and have their feet a bit more on the ground for what is actually possible. Like, it sounds like they're building a game for the team that they have now, not the team that they hope to have. And I think that's important for me. So
nice. Okay, good. Okay. Well, now that Desmond's taken all the points.
He's taken all the points.
Oh, no, there's still so much
checked off all the points. Yep, it's all over. Everybody else just kick him out of Discord. No, just kidding.
Well, why don't we say farewell to Des and bring our next victim in, eh?
Hey, make sure you guys go follow Des on Twitch. He's got some excellent. He's streaming now. He's a streamer. We got to get him sucked in, so make sure you go follow him on Twitch.
Thanks, Jack.
Right on. Talk to you later, bud.
See ya.
All right. Desmond's gone back to the green room. Who is next? Let's bring in Redbeard Flynn next, because Red is at the bottom of my list. Yay. And Red is awesome. So unmute yourself, Red. And there you go. Here he comes. The man has arrived. Redbeard, what's up, dude?
Hello, everybody. How are you all doing?
Hey.
Fantastic.
Great. Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I should be working on other stuff, but I sat through the whole Q&A, so I wanted to come say hi and share some thoughts with you all.
You need to take a break from all that other stuff you do. You just every time I look at your channel, it's like there's a new video every day, and then there's something else you're working on. I don't know how you find time. Yeah,
lots of tears. Lots of tears.
I thought you scheduled your tears from 9 to 10.
I do. Okay. Specifically after reading YouTube comments, especially all the mean ones that Desmond wrote after my ESO video.
I gotta give you props for your tweet today about adding moist to your favorite MMO ever. I had so many ideas in my head. I was gonna do bless moist, or some sort of thing on Hello Kitty Online with moist in there.
Moist Unleashed.
Moist Unleashed. Damn it! That was what it was. That's what I was searching for the whole time.
It's all cursed. Sorry about that. To everyone, to humanity in general.
It was very funny. So what did you think about this Q&A update, Red?
Well, it's kind of like the thing. Like, there's so many things that I was wanting VR to do last year. It was like, focus on putting out content, focus on just getting people into the game, focus on just like, it doesn't have to be perfect, just get it out there. And that's kind of what I was like. This, like, they said that at the end of the year, right? but this sounds more like, okay, they actually are doing it. I think we saw that obviously with the streamer week. We saw that with letting alpha testers in and everything. But like showing like we're gonna put in the AVP, but it's not gonna be finished, and this isn't gonna be there. Actually just like content. That is, I think, essential for Pantheon to survive past this year. As far as like survive as a viable project. And so I'm really heartened to see that and to hear that AVP is soon. What was the quote? Very, very, very soon, or was it two varies? I don't know how many soons it was.
It's always another very added on to the previous statement.
Couple weeks away. It's hopefully that's soon.
And then as far as like the playable races, I think I'll be feeling in a much better place once both the Ogre and Gnome are done. Because as they were talking about like having the ability to kind of like snap armor, I guess that's probably the wrong terminology, but because you have the largest race and the smaller race and all the other ones fit in between there. So the other one should be easier once these two are done. So you start with the human as the base model, right? And then you go from there. And the Ogre looked good. Like, that's what I've been hoping for so badly. I'm not playing a human. I don't care if the human looks bad.
Wow.
Nobody's going to want to play the human female, though, if it doesn't get fixed.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That face is not making any friends anytime soon.
No.
But, the Ogre, like, it looked good. Like, I don't even know, like, in the art style, it just looked good to me. Like, I didn't really have any notes. Like, it was just like, that just looked good. And I think that's what I was really hoping for.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked what Joppa said at the end. It's a big year for content, and that he's not content with the content as it stands now, which is what I'm hearing you say. Like I think that's a pretty strong statement. Like for them to survive this year, the content needs to be multiplied. That needs to be completely increased beyond what it currently stands at right now. And like again, they've set big goals, and maybe that is exactly what needs to happen. They need to focus on getting out what they can get out, in whatever state it's in. And it goes back to that starting cities argument, right? Like, I think again that was wisdom speaking, that you need to be realistic about your resources, and it may not be perfect. It may not live up to some standards that you have that you feel you have to achieve. But what's better than a less than perfect, product is a product at all,
Yeah.
So it sounds like we're kind of in the same mindset, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And I think they're also seeing, I retweeted a little while ago, Massively OP had an article when Pantheon released their stuff about how all the data they got, and it was like just the right amount of cheeky, because it was like it's almost like we told you about this, so like we told you this was a good idea, like you would get data by doing this, and I think at some points that's kind of necessary, because in any project you get kind of in it, and so I think it's helpful to see like, okay, maybe some voices outside the project did have some good ideas, and now we're starting to see some of the payoff on that. And I hope it just kind of, because you could tell at the the 3 QAs ago, the 247 one, how down they were, right? Everyone was so down, and then the next one was more upbeat, and the next one was more upbeat, and this one felt more upbeat still. So like the morale seems to be trending up. There's more joking around. There's more, as y'all were saying earlier, casualness about it. But the morale is important too for the team, but also for the community. And I think in general, it's been trending up as more content comes out, as more testing phases come out. I think it's everything seems to be trending in the right direction. It's more about just staying in that direction and continuing to go that direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. That's like what I said at the beginning. Like, I'm so glad that this persist issue is not something that's going to stop that from happening. And people get more work done when they're happy, right? Like, if they're feeling better about the whole project, there's going to be a greater, increased productivity, one would think. So,
yeah. There was a little bean that Ben said. I don't know if it was before the Q&A started or what, but talking about like how like someone asked about the pledges, right? And how that's going. And basically his response, I think, was something along the lines of, it's showing that we're going in the right direction or doing the right things. I mean, that's very nebulous, right? But it still sounds like a good thing.
Yeah, it sounded positive direction.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
though. I get more work out of Therek when I beat him. So
Come on, man. Pal world, dude.
I try so hard, Draq. I don't know why you have to be so mean.
you just have to give him the
Everything.
stick. It's fine.
I've got a video coming out soon. I promise. I promise. Hey, whatever works. So whatever works. You know, you gotta. Sometimes you gotta get the job done. Yeah. No, I think those are all good points, Red. I really like that approach to things, and it was it was a good Q&A. Is there anything else that you wanted to comment on? Any other points they made that sort of jumped out to you?
Just until like next month, I am fully on the summoner bandwagon. I have left the necromancer bandwagon.
What?
I'll probably be right back on the necromancer bandwagon. But the freaking the summoner pets look really freaking cool.
So you're just riding the roller coaster.
Dude, I'm fickle.
You've given up. You're just like whatever.
That fire pet was sick though. I loved like the magma rock, really like the volcanic rock. It looked like it looked great.
Yeah, and they'll have armor. That like one of the things that I loved about was that EverQuest 2 was as you got better pets, they changed, right? And even if it's just minor changes, like I think Joppa was talking about armor, like on like they start out with armor on the like the wrists maybe, and then a little bit more armor. Like it's a very small thing, but it's also a big thing because it's a show of player prestige and power.
I think you mentioned size as well, so it's a little teeny tiny pet when you start, and it grows.
Yeah. And but as much as I love that, and I do, those are the kinds of things that I think get VR in trouble sometimes. Is when those are the types of things where we sit here in 6 months from now, look back and say, you know what, they could have just had the Archimentals done, but they had to do the size thing. They had to put, make it so that when they are equipping armor, that it shows. It's like those little things have been thorns in the side in the past, and we need to, I don't know, but they need to learn from that. If you ask me, I think that there's a line there that they have to stay mindful of, So I'll just say
fair.
that.
That's fair. And I think it's just like a prioritization of projects, right? So, and it sounds like they do have the priorities of classes, races, and zones as the priority, and getting them out in imperfect states, which I think is fantastic. So I think if those remain the priorities, and it's adding on to the whole part of it, but it is, the small things can be necessary down the line. To separate the game from other projects. Yeah. But yeah, definitely priorities. Priorities are important.
Well, they talked about that too. I'm trying to find it in my notes here where he said they were talking about the zones being in a base state and then bringing on another team to go and do a second pass and do more, make them more polished, make them more. What did he say? So right now the focus is breadth of the zones, and then the second, later on will be the more details added. So,
which I think that goes back all the way back to one of my favorite streams, and still my favorite streams, like the Making of a City stream, and the gray boxing and everything like that. And it's I mean, I get that there's at this point of the project, there's probably a fear of perception of not of showing imperfect things, right? Because you every month at this point adds additional pressure, but just showing more content, I think, helps with that pressure in a lot of ways, because it's showing more and more, and showing and allowing people to play said content is a great way. Even if there's issues, there's always going to be issues. I was playing ESO, and a thing went into the wall, and that game is 10 years old. There's always going to be issues. It's fine. And you're not going to please everybody. There's plenty of people that are going to be mad no matter what happens.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Perfection's an impossible standard. Some
yeah.
wise person
Yeah.
told me that one time, my wife. So I live by that sometimes.
Especially
That
for an MMO.
Yes.
that
Absolutely.
comment was just for Des about ESO as well. Yes, it was.
Are you trolling this? Well, you were talking about
I am.
pets improving earlier. We just saw that in EverQuest 2, right? And about we had a pet carry the day one, many times in our streams.
Yeah.
And pets are important, so I get it.
They are there, and I mean they they can also be like for a lot of people and also it's like they showpieces are important, which is why I've been so excited for the ogre to be done, because I think that just like a human psychology thing, the human is going to be the most difficult thing to show well. It just because we
Absolutely.
see humans, right? We have a ready comparison. I mean, unless you can make Asmongold your character creator, I don't think it's going to work out very well.
God, please don't.
But I mean, the whole point was the ogre being the next race. It is something that they can point to as a bit of a showpiece, because thankfully it looks good, but also it's something different, and it sets Pantheon apart, and it's their take on the ogre, and it actually feels very different. And so I think that's something that I think is going to be really good in the next whenever we get the ogre, which sounds like they needed rigging. I think was the next thing that they needed to do, and then the armor.
Yep. Hopefully soon. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Anything else on your mind?
No, that's it.
Right on, man. Well, thanks for stopping by. We don't talk to you enough.
Oh, there is one thing. It's not related to Pantheon, I want to say, but I just wanted to give Sparoh props for helping put together the meaning of the mines earlier with Monsters and Memories and Embers Adrift.
Yep.
That was awesome.
Thanks. It was a pleasure to do.
Yeah, it was a
you did
really
that.
cool
That's awesome,
thing.
Sparoh.
Yeah. It's a really cool thing, and I think that they had so many good points, and it shows so much about what indie dev is about. And I thought that was really cool. And Sab was even in chat, so I think that was awesome. I think that the indie MMO space in general has a lot of like minds in it.
Mm-hmm.
So well done, Sparoh.
That's great. Yeah, awesome.
Oh, thanks, Red.
Yep.
Cool. All right, man. Well, good talking to
All right.
you. We'll talk to you soon.
Later, Red.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Make sure you go check out Redbeard Flynn. He streams
Yes.
on the YouTube and on the Twitch too.
Yes, he's all over YouTube. He's got so much content and so much good content. You definitely got to check it out. So, all right, how about we talk to our friend Sarah next? You guys, what do you think?
Absolutely.
All right, Sarah, unmute yourself, and I'll drag you into the live. There we go. There she is, Sarah. Hi.
Hey guys.
What's up?
So I totally missed the Q&A.
Yeah, I saw you pop in at the end. You're like, oh no, I missed it.
Darn kids and their kid stuff. But listening to you guys talk about it and all of Dez's points, it sounds like I didn't miss too much, so that's cool. And I went and saw the beans already.
Yeah.
So I have questions. I don't have comments. I have questions. So it sounds like they have a lot planned for 2024. I'm curious. So AVP is coming hopefully soon.
End of January, hopefully.
That's
Yeah.
kind of what they're shooting for. Yep.
So my biggest thing that I've been wondering about and worrying about since like the art announcement, like the end of last year, is like, are they going to have enough stuff to put in the game for us to play it? Because we burned through everything that they had for us, before so fast. And how do you guys feel about it after hearing that Q&A?
I think just adding AVP is going to give us tons of content. I don't think you had a chance to play AVP yet, have you?
No, all I have done
it's
so far is
gigantic.
awesome.
It's massive. Yeah. So there's going to be tons of areas, tons of different things
And it was
to do.
massive before they like expanded on Throne Fest. So like it's only going to get more massive.
Yeah. I'm people say burn through the content of the current zone, but part of the reality is that there is a lot of high level content that, not the majority of the pre-alpha testers right now are actually doing, there's a few that have gotten to like, the high levels, and I say a few, it's more than that, but it's like, that content is just not accessed as much as a level 13 to 14 zone probably would be, so I think it's like Japo said, the breadth, right, is getting an expansion of what we can do at level 6 and 7 as opposed to going to higher levels. So yeah, I mean, it's about exploring and seeing new things in new areas, but also just different environments, different mobs, different types of, mechanics being in play. I think that they could right now, they could just throw more NPCs into Throne Fast and say, now there's more content for you. But that's not what people want, right? We're looking at it again as not like a testing environment. We're looking at it as a play environment where we want things that are interesting and new and, discovery and all these things that are like player things, not tester things, right? So, I don't know. I don't know what AVP is going to bring. I'm curious as to the play experience as opposed to the testing experience, I guess.
Is 2 to 3 more zones for the year? Is that enough? That seemed a little low to me.
For the size of it, I think that would be still a lot.
Zones are really big,
Maybe.
aren't they?
I don't know.
Well, Throne Fast is big though, right?
If you're going to have all the races and all the classes in.
Throne Fest has a huge upper area that nobody goes to because there's nothing there, right? Like that massive zone up, sort of let's say the southwest corner of the zone. So it's about putting meaningful content in that people actually are like, have a reason to go and do.
Right.
So,
that's kind of the point I was making. It doesn't matter how big your zone is if it's empty. So they need to have enough stuff to put into it for us to be able to, do and enjoy. So yeah, I think it's a balance between like having enough stuff for people to play, but also, don't wait until everything is perfect because then it will never come out, but it still has to be good enough to be fun to play and not just,
Right. So what if I told you you can fight level 7 spiders in Throne Fast, or you can go over to AVP and fight level 7 skeletons? Like, are you enticed to go over to AVP just to fight, to do the same thing just on a different mob? Like, and that's kind of like, to me, I don't really like at this stage of the game, because I'm not really playing the game. I'm still testing, it's still a testing environment. If I was playing the game and it was a launch product, I might be more enticed to go over there and do that because it's part of my character sort of journey, permanent character journey. Like, it has to be somehow substantially different from the content that currently exists in Throne Fast, more than just, a different mob of the same level that does exactly the same thing.
Right. So that's where I'm at. Like, I definitely agree that they need to not push for perfection and not try to check everything that's been on their list, because we might not ever get a game. But I do hope that they are able to still keep the things that make Pantheon feel special, which so far I feel like they have. Like, playing pre-alpha has been fun, and I hope that they continue to be able to do that to make it differentiate itself from other games and give us that wow factor without it being the reason we don't get a game.
Right.
Des is saying in chat too that like the dispositions, the climates, the traits, all that stuff, making the enemies more interesting is going to be huge. Right?
Yeah, that's dispositions.
That's what I'm talking about.
Things I've seen so far.
Right. Yeah. So that's the kind of substantial progress that I think another zone. I mean, you could put that in Throne Fast, though, right? Like, you could put those things in Throne Fast. Putting another open area just with different, landscapes and environments is kind of neat, but unless it's substantially different in some capacity, I don't see the draw to go over there personally. I'm saying that as like I just said a minute ago, I just want there to be another zone, and that's just because I want to know the game is progressing. That's not really about the experience I want. It's because I want the game to progress.
But I do remember that when we had Avendir's Pass, a lot of people would head over there almost right away. Level 4, level 5, head over there because they needed to spread out. And Avendiers is so much bigger. And we're so used to having a fight now for spots to be able to camp in.
It's true.
They're all so camped. Most people used to just go to AVP and be done with it and spread out. And there was tons of places to go. So even if it's spiders versus skellies, it's still just a different place to go, hang with your friends, grind mobs, get gear, whatever.
That's true.
And you're right. And also just because they can put it in Throne Fest doesn't mean they will or they should. So the differentiation could just be that you're going somewhere else to find something that could exist, where you've been, but it won't. Like that was true for EverQuest for sure. There was a lot of similarity, but little minute changes made it feel different.
Sarah, here's some beans for you that you probably missed since you got to the end. Shamans are the only healer that can self-res. All the rest of the healers will not be getting a self-res.
No. He
Not quite.
He said that the
Except
other
for
ones, it's like a
epic level
prestige.
Something
is
at
what
the
he said.
end,
Whatever.
yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
In their
Yada
toolkit.
yada.
Draq doesn't listen past the first 30 words
Shamans
after that.
only.
Headlines
That's
only for
very
Draq.
cool. I'm so Therek, tell me more about the Ranger. What's happening with the Ranger?
It's not dead last.
It was
apparently.
confirmed before Necro.
Yes.
Thank goodness. I would have been
Before
so mad
Necro.
if it was pushed below the ones that
I
weren't
tried
even
to put
supposed to be
the
out
Ranger
before.
back in the asterisk, but no one was gonna do that for me.
I bet Draq.
Us Rangers would be revolting.
Yeah, you're outnumbered here, Draq. You're
Yeah.
heavily
There's
Rangers.
outnumbered.
Rangers everywhere right now. What is going on here?
You're surrounded. We all have our bows pointed right at your
Yeah.
chest there.
Thank God. I can't wait to see some nature stuff. Bring me my Ranger, bring me my Druid.
Mm-hmm.
I've been dealing with Shaman. I've been like, that's been hold me over, but it's barely doing the job. I gotta have my nature people.
Yeah.
And my
I'm not-
pointy ears.
Another thing that you might have missed as Sarah was talking about the resurrection abilities, like the shaman being the only one that can self-res, is that they're actually improving a lot of they're changing a lot of the resurrection sort of mechanics. I think they said, they're improving their. Joppa was talking about meeting with Kyle to sort of, because as right now, if you release, you can't res, right? Like you have to stay before you release to get a res. So it sounds like they want to change that. So there is some
Right.
mechanical changes coming to resurrections. So.
And did we know about battle reses before? Did we just assume we were going to get them, or have we heard VR say there was going to be battle reses? Because they definitely said there was going to be battle reses.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever heard self-res before.
No, self-res is new. That's new for sure.
Well, remember a long time ago, the shaman was going to be in like a spirit form and then like roam around. That was always kind of the plan with the shaman.
Okay, yeah. I don't remember that particularly, but I wouldn't deny it. But yeah, no, I don't know. Resurrection. I don't know about battle res. I think that we've always assumed there would be. I mean,
right.
The only thing I know Joppa is adamant against is sort of like the full heal.
Like a complete heal?
Yeah, like a complete heal.
Yeah.
No chills?
Yeah.
No chills.
No chills.
No chills.
Yeah. And good news for the pointy ears that after, what is it, Ogre and Gnome?
Yeah.
Halflings are
halfling
next, and then elves. Yeah.
Apparently, our guy's in the same boat as Rangers. We're going to be at the end of the list.
Yep.
Good. I really need some more pointy elves in my life. I'm playing a cow in WoW right now. I don't even. It's so hard, you guys. It's so hard. I have to hoof it everywhere. I have to it's so hard. I need some pointy ears back.
You can always give up the druid, and then we can work on that.
Ugh, no way.
No dice. Yeah.
Okay, well, I am excited. I feel like I'm not cautiously optimistic because it's more than that. I'm more positive than that. But I agree that it sounds like trimming some of the really big stuff is a good plan, and I hope that that's helping them move forward. It also seems like what they said last summer with like the art update is going to help speed things up. Like that really seems to be holding true. So I'm really happy to see that they said that was going to be the case, and I knew they were going to get a bunch of flack for the art. but it's really made a difference, and I'm definitely here for that. So yay!
I was excited to hear that too when Joppa talked about how they wanted to move closer to a realistic look. They're trying to find that balance, and that's something that I think has been in response to how it's sort of, what the response has been to the art shift. They're happy with it, but I think there was also an acknowledgement that it's not where it needs to be right now. So they're trying to continually move that slider a little further on the realism side, without losing the gains that they've made from performance that they talked about. So I was happy. I was really happy to hear that.
I was really happy with the way everything looked in content or Creator Week, except for the humans, which do definitely still need work. But yeah. So whoever it was that made the point about the humans being the toughest is definitely spot on. Like, that's always going to be the one we're judging the harshest, I think. And all the other concept stuff looks great. So, and everything I've seen in game, I was happy with, besides humans. So, yay.
Yay.
Yeah.
Right on.
And I think something you and Essen talk about often is their communication. So I think I don't know if you missed, but Savanya even had a list of concrete steps that they're taking to better their communication. She had frequent updates, a production tracker, a mod area, the bean, what is it? Dean's Beans channel.
And there's a bunch of stuff in Dean's Beans right now.
Yeah, I just saw that channel for the first time. I think that's an excellent idea. I love that.
Yep.
Which, by the way, small plug, go over to our new website at staticgroup.live for an article specifically detailing all of Dean's Beans.
It's a true story.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sparoh, I interrupted.
Thank you,
Go
Sparoh,
ahead.
for pointing that out. I think they've definitely been making progress in the right direction on communication lately, and that's also something that's never going to be perfect, and nobody should try for that. But listening to our feedback and working on responding to it and making an effort to improve in that is huge. So
yeah.
Yay,
and them having a direct line to their project manager, Rob, I think is really important. That's a criticism they've had from a lot of us, saying, you got to get that project management going where everybody's kind of have deadlines and what's next and who's working on what. And apparently Rob is doing the whipping. So
lots of whipping.
Good. That should be his emote in the Discord, is a whip. And right on. Well, thanks for stopping by, Sarah. I'm glad you missed it.
Catching me up, guys.
You betcha. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, we're down to our last guest, that being our friend Man of Rohan, who is now unmuted and is gonna jump in. So here we go.
All right, we'll give ourselves a little sea shanty here. Here we go.
You shanty it up.
Soon may the Pantheon come to bring us friends and MMO fun. One day when the beta is done, we'll all log in and go.
I love how we both do that every time at the same time. What's up, man?
Hey, guys.
Hey.
What's going down?
Hey, no one, and I did just get mentioned in chat, but I was hoping no one would, so I would be the only one. But no one mentioned that they're changing the light.
Yeah?
That dark is not going to be nearly as dark, and I say, amen, hallelujah.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Yeah. I have a new perspective because I'm being a new PA tester, so that's been fun, for sure. And so, in fact, the stream week was completely effective because it sold me on going that next step. So
when you logged in for the first time and then you went and it became night and it became dark, what was your
I was like, oh, this can't be right. I can figure it. I calibrated something wrong.
Yeah, my monitor's broken. I have to go buy a new monitor.
Well, and it was daytime, and so I have a door with a window in it right behind me, and so the light was on my actual monitor enough that it was even harder to see. I'm like, I don't even. How does anyone play this game at nighttime? Because I can't see jack squat. So, but they talked about the light sources, the personal light sources, and others not being adequate enough. I realized that there are some bugs they're working through with some shadows, but other than that, the idea that they're going to make it a little bit lighter is, I'm like, that is awesome. That's music to my ears.
I think that you've been into the gloom in game, have you? I'm assuming.
I've been close.
Okay.
But no, I've seen what happens on other streams, and it's just such a stark. Like all of a sudden, it's just ridiculously dark.
I think that level of darkness in the gloom is good. Like that's what that should be. It shouldn't like that outside of the gloom when it's just night and you're just roaming around is too much. It actually takes away from the gloom being so scary and oppressive, because that's like you don't want to go in there, but there's good stuff in there. You want to there's skellies that you want and whatever. But like if you put that out in the world and you're just running around, like it takes away from that, in my opinion.
It does. I agree with that philosophy. It's like, why would I, it's not, then it's less of a stark thing. It's less of a dangerous thing if this is my every night big deal. I was born in the dark, so.
That's Draq's catchphrase.
That is my catchphrase.
Don't steal that from Draq.
I was born in the dark. Yeah.
I think their moonlit darkness is perfect.
Oh,
totally,
it's great.
Totally.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yes. And I'm like, I've watched a couple of streams, like Desert has a more recent like B-roll. I'm like, is this what full darkness is for him? I couldn't tell because it was just perfect. Like that's the kind of darkness that would be great. Is when and I guess it wasn't, because later on it really wasn't, and you barely see the skeletons. That are glowing. Like I'm like, there should be more light emitting from my torch or whatever is happening. Just in physics wise, there should be more light in Avelia. So anyway, I'll get off that, but I'm just really happy that they've changed that or are changing that. So, but something else that wasn't mentioned is the dialogue is coming back and being reintroduced.
I knew you were going to bring that up. I have it I was going to mention it. You didn't, but I'm glad.
Oh, yeah.
Lore. They said
happy
lore.
about that.
New lore.
Yeah.
And lore, yeah. So he's like, and also, just make sure you're talking, because it might take some doing to get some of the NPCs to say more things to you. So those are the kind of things that really make it, as far as interacting with people, like I stopped even like thinking about other NPCs until I only talk to the merchants and the people if I want to, that I was turning quests because they had nothing to say, and they just say well met. I'm like, all right, thanks, fine. Now or at least I discovered your faction, so okay, good. But other than that, it's like, well, I don't care anymore, and I'm just going and doing my own thing. So now there's now there will be a good reason. I'm happy to hear that it's supposed to be coming in this next patch.
Yes.
So that's very cool. I'm really looking forward to that part.
MOR, I am so excited to skip quest text. I cannot even tell you how excited I am. It's to be fantastic.
Get that clicker button finger ready, Draq. You got more clicking coming up to do soon.
Right.
Yeah,
And,
man, I know, and that's the thing. I've said this before. I think I said it the last time we did P plus U here. I was like, I went around and I was like, okay, I want to showcase during Content Creator Week. I want to showcase all the lore that's in the game, but it's just not there. So it's being folded back in, is what they said. And it reminds me of like, Elden Ring, when you have to talk to the same character 3 or 4 times to get the full story, right? To get the full quest text and what they're trying to convey to you out of it. I hope that's back in, and I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm gonna ask for permission to create some content if they do that, because I want to show that off. It's felt like an empty version of Pantheon to me in a lot of ways, without any lore, any world details actively in the game.
Yeah. Well, and I was joking in my head, but I thought, about the emotes. You said, hey, emotes, who cares? Let's get on to other things. But
yes.
But and I actually agree with you. But obviously other people didn't, though. Like if you looked at the chat and looked at the response about the emotes, people were on board. They're like, yes, let's get those in immediately. I know there were some jokes happening, but people care about that, so I understand why they want to say, hey, we already have the ability to do it, and let's just let's throw it in there if we can. So I get it, but I'm like, yeah, I don't care about emotes nearly as much as other people, so I'm like, I'd rather have other things, but whatever.
Well, it's the funny thing to me is that when you look at like any game that's in development, in the most early stages of development, they always have emotes in. It seems like just the easiest thing to implement in any game is emotes because they're always in there.
It must
at
be,
like the
yeah.
earliest stages. There's always a dance emote. There's always a bow, a wave, whatever. To me that it just doesn't mean anything to me. It's not a sign of any kind of development. It's just a thing.
Yeah, and I admit there have been a couple times I tried to wave at people already. And
I've done it. I've done it. I admit.
Yeah.
So I just want to know two things. One, are these emotes going to be droppable? And two, can I sell them on the auction house? That's what I need to know.
What game has that? We played a game that had that. What was that?
Embers.
Do you remember? Oh, was it Embers?
Embers Adrift has droppable emotes. Yep, absolutely.
Interesting.
How did I not know that?
Yep.
Like you have to learn how to wink.
Kill bosses, and then the bosses drop emotes.
My God.
Oh man.
Okay, that's all right. I'll take that. I like that.
So, but I there's a couple things. One thing I wanted to mention for anyone, the music is what makes the game right now. As far as makes it feel like a place I want to hang out in. It just, I'm doing the things and I'm playing and I'm going and I'm fighting things and I'm learning how my abilities work and everything. But what really makes me want to be in the game is the music right now. So amazing. So
did you catch when he talked about when Joppa was talking about the Bard design? He's actually talking to Phil from TVO.
Oh man,
I think Phil single-handedly got Necros and Bards back in the game.
Is there anything
he's just not leaving
like...
Joppa alone. He's like, but I could do this with Bards and I could do this with Necros. It's going to be fantastic.
Tick Energy has increased the productivity of the team. So I know just hearing about that, saying, hey, we're working with real music people to make the Bard cooler.
Isn't that amazing?
That's how I interpreted that. It is awesome. That's super good.
Yeah. And all their atmospheric noises, like the muttering goblins and stuff like that, is just so
amazing.
Perfect.
And like the whistling humming when you walk by. Yeah, the humming and the whistling. It's, I wrote down in my notes one time when I was playing, and I'm like, okay, I got to ask JN if that whistling song means anything. Is that like a song from some lore bit somewhere along the lines? Who knows? But
yeah. So
incredible.
And then the last thing I wanted to say was, I also wanted to shout out Savanya for all of her follow-up questions are the ones I really want to know about.
Yeah,
right.
So, and she's just got her pulse on exactly what people want to ask about. So, great job.
She feels like she's representing the community well, because community is sort of like collectively thinking, but this, and she gets the but this question,
Mm-hmm. So anyway, that's pretty. There's a lot more in there, and I'm glad we can drag people's corpses. I'm glad that Joppa wants, or rather, what did he say? I would love to see. He said that a few times. Talking about all the classes in and all the races in this year.
The base ones, not the Necro and the Bard.
Well, not the Ranger, right? Because that's coming after.
The Ranger is really close to that asterisk line.
No, I love the Ranger. I would be sad. Yeah,
he killed his mic.
Yeah. Okay, we'll see you later, man.
No, the Rangers. That's my second class, really. So I would love to be
second class Ranger.
Second class Ranger.
I see how it is.
I mean, once they get the cleric up and running again, and it isn't the paladin stole all of its abilities, then I'll be playing a cleric.
Hey, Menrohan, did you see on Saturday Morning Heroes that we got to kill Jeremy again? We keep killing Jeremy over and over again.
Poor guy. Yeah. Like, what did he do?
Well, maybe he called Rangers second-class citizens. That's all I'm saying. Maybe he insulted Rangers one too many times.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Well, I've message received. I plan to shape up as soon as I can.
It's intense in here.
Yeah, it just got real. No, it's always good to talk to you, man.
Yeah, guys. Thanks.
All right, see you, dude.
Take care.
Bye.
All right, folks. That is the green room for the show. Good stuff.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody got Therek, you have any final thoughts?
Let me just take a quick glance at my notes here. If there's anything else I wanted to mention that
we didn't talk about bindstones, or I think Joppa said gate and origin. I thought that was interesting. Because you never mentioned an origin before. Like an origin usually signifies like a port to your home city.
Yeah.
Right.
what I thought was interesting about that is that there used to be a bind stone in pre-alpha.
Right.
There's no bind stone anymore. There used to be multiple bind stones. Even back when AVP was up, there was bind stones, but not anymore. So I don't know why those aren't in right now. I think it's interesting that those haven't been in.
There is a bind stone that's down the road by that Skelly named, where he wanders.
There used to be one there. It's gone. It's not there anymore. Right? Draq?
I don't
you
know.
Need to
I have no
come
idea.
on, Draq. Decide this debate. Okay, hold on. I'll load up pre-alpha right now. I'll go in a second. You guys talk more. I'm just kidding. I won't do that.
Wait, are you asking me directions of things? I
thought you might
rule
know.
Number one, Therek. Rule number one.
I thought you might know a landmark.
I follow people around until they say nuke things.
Des says it's gone.
It's gone. Yeah, it's gone. It's not there anymore. It used to be there. But that was something that they did bring. So it was interesting. So hopefully we'll see that again. What else? Anything else? I don't think so. I think everything else I wrote down, the stuff that I had highlighted, we talked about. So
I'm just glad perception isn't getting completely cut. And I understand that a lot of the narrative aspects of it might be less than what they want, but the discovery part and the progression part are still, I think, going to be, from what I took away from it, they'll be part of what's there when it launches, but maybe not all the narrative with the NPC interactions and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just too resource intensive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they reinforced that. I think it was a little bit of a clarification from the last Q&A where the what came out of that was people saying perception's been descoped.
That's a lot of people were saying that.
That's not the case. I mean, it's easy to say that just because it's easier than explaining all the nuances of what they actually said. But what you're right, Sparoh, you're right. I mean, they did drop a reinforce that it's important. It's a differentiator for the game of Pantheon. It's not just something that's a minor system that they can live without.
The core system, yeah.
Yeah.
Ten just said I'm DPS, not GPS.
That's a good step. That's
going on a shirt.
GPS, not GPS. I like that. I'm gonna get you on you put that on the merch store, Draq.
That's going on the merch store. That's hilarious.
Well said, Ten. Well said.
I'm surprised Draq didn't bring up the secondary stats of increasing his strength for his fireballs.
I mean, we've been hearing a lot about that. I didn't really feel like there was anything new.
Wasn't there?
No, it was sort of the same discussion from before about how non-traditional stats will have impact.
More classes taking my cloth. That's all I heard. It's kind of depressing. All the warriors are going to be rolling on my int cloth because I'm an int warrior. Yay!
Int warrior.
It'll probably just be an off piece, not their main set. But I already feel that kind of. I know Des always puts his stuff into his beginning stats. I think it's Constitution, I want to say, so that his buff is always better than everybody else's buff.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Where everybody else puts theirs into Wisdom, so their heals are better. But it sets you apart. It gives you a distinct feel of this is what I do really well.
It does.
Nobody overrides Des's buffs.
That's right.
Des knows what he's doing.
But he's like, excuse me, mine goes on.
He's like,
mine's
actually,
better.
Put in Constitution.
Well, actually,
there's a good chart if you look in the official Discord. I don't know who did it, but somebody put together a good graphic of all the different impacts of the stats and how they change the effect on your character per class. I have it saved somewhere, but it was really cool. That's the kind of thing that's what they're going for, right? That's what they want.
Going all strength warrior next time, or strength wizard next time, Therek.
Are you? Okay.
Whip those fireballs.
Strength wizard, eh? Okay.
Even though I probably won't hit level 10.
Somewhere Des is it's like nails on a chalkboard for Des. He's like, no. He's never going to group with you again.
What about you, Sparoh? Any final thoughts before we head out?
No, that was really it. Just the stat and the perception system. I'm glad it wasn't completely out, or descoped, as they say. That there's going to be parts of it because it is a core system that are going to be in. So that made me happy.
Very cool. I was excited that it seemed like they really liked the streamer week and they're going to go back to it because I know I had a lot of fun on the streamer week.
Hell yeah.
It felt kind of nebulous, so it's kind of like, yeah, we liked it, it was good, but who knows when.
Yeah,
right,
I'd
there's
rather
no
hear
ETA.
like a goal of we want it in.
I
So,
mean,
you know.
I think if they had any kind of target for any of the stuff that they want to put out, then they probably would add a target for Stream Week. But they have to, I think they have to, I mean, you can't offer a target for Stream Week if you have no idea when your patch is going to drop, right? Like, there's no point.
Right,
Yeah.
and they thought they was coming out this week, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they postponed it, like Joppa said. But I mean, honestly, I think I just want to go further down the road of being able to stream it whenever we want. I mean, that's ultimately that's what I think we hopefully can get to at some point, because, like I say, once you've, and this is speaking, not to the masses. Obviously, this is just for maybe for us in terms of our experiences, but streaming the game is so much fun, and it's so much. I enjoy playing it in pre-alpha, but I enjoy streaming it a hell of a lot more. Like, it adds so much to it for me. It's so much fun to do it as to show it off and do things that help demonstrate, the magic of it and the specialness of this game. It brings so much more to the experience for me. So it's like, you can have a cake without icing, or you can have a cake with icing. It's like, I just want the icing. I want the cake with icing every time.
Well, plus, like, we're doing 5 streams a week now, so it's like, I don't have all this extra time to play games that we're not streaming. It's hard.
Well, as you and I have talked about, if we could stream Pantheon on a weekly basis, something's getting dumped. Something's getting pushed.
Things are getting moved.
Yeah, exactly.
We have, where'd it go? We have a new...
I do.
Palarum in chat. He's a new first-time chatter. Welcome to the channel. Will there be an opportunity to beta test the game? I've done Guild Wars 1 and 2, Palia, and World of Warcraft. You can get into be an alpha pledger. There's the link. You can go pledge for alpha, and alpha testers are... They've said that alpha testers are going to test. No ETA, though. So...
Yeah, the same thing. Ben was sort of non-committal on it. They want to do it again, but who knows when for the alpha testers. But I heard you read the question. Did you say alpha or did you say beta? Because I heard beta.
Did you say beta? Well, beta. There's no ETA on beta.
So there's no ETA on beta. No.
Yeah. No.
And I just want to say, too, I agree with Screech that once AVP opens, which may be end of January, they definitely need to have at least a streamer day or a streamer week or something to show off Avendir's being in.
Yes. And not like a statutory holiday that everybody is like busy
Right.
on, please. Can we do it on like a week? Like, how about not spring break, not Easter weekend, something where people are probably available.
Yeah, Screech. VR is very aware that we are willing to stream once a week as needed.
We're here for you.
We're reminding them now.
Yes. Consider this our application.
Yes.
All right. Well, it's approaching that time. So I think this went pretty well. A lot of stuff. Thank you so much for everyone for joining us. Oh, hey, Therek, did you know that this stream is sponsored?
I did not.
Yeah,
no.
This stream is sponsored. It's sponsored.
We have a sponsor?
Yeah, we have a sponsor. It's Draq's High Fantasy RPG coloring book.
Hey, what a quality sponsor that is.
You can head over
mine in the mail.
Yeah, you can head over to Amazon and get yours today.
Damn it, mine's upstairs. I'd grab mine now and I'd show it on the stream, but it's upstairs. I have started coloring. I think the Beholder in there. What I'm working on right now.
Nice.
I love it.
Cool. I'm really happy with how it turned out. So yeah.
Well done,
also, if you guys want, if in our Discord channel, we're releasing 1 image a month, so you can hop in there, download the picture, color it, put it back up. I want to see how everybody colors the different images. I just think it's fun and cool. So we haven't had anyone brave enough to take the bite yet, but I feel like we're getting there. Someone's going to be brave and do it.
Well, hey, isn't mine in there? Are you
Yours
just
is there?
But
my lovely creation?
Your
it's
lovely
even signed.
creation. Yes,
it's even signed.
It's signed.
Save
but
that.
I beat you. I beat
that.
you into submission to do it. So I'm not sure. That
Oh yeah, I blocked that out. I blocked that part out. I was too busy scrawling away.
All right, everyone. All jokes aside, thanks so much for joining us. We had a great time. Everybody, wave bye-bye to the people.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for coming out.
Good night.